Imagine a sleepy village nestled deep in the Catskill Mountains. Not just any village, but one where bookstores line the main street, putting it on the New York State map of destinations for book lovers. This hidden gem of Hobart the Book Village once was on the verge of becoming a ghost town. However, Hobart turned a new leaf when old books breathed new life into its quiet buildings. In a society where reading books for pleasure seems old-fashioned, we take the winding path on an autumn escape to a cozy cabin in the woods, setting off in search of a book lover's paradise. And even if old books aren't your cup of tea, we hope you'll join us for the timeless enchantment of Sleepy Hollow Country. This storied region has long inspired legends and timeless tales, from Washington Irving's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow to Rip Van Winkle. And here we find ourselves stepping into the very pages of its ghostly folklore on the historic Hudson River Valley. Greetings!
And welcome!
We are Lindsay and Jonas, the charming travelers, inviting you to follow along as early autumn carries us into novel adventures, one chapter at a time. Don't forget to leave your bookmark by subscribing so you can be part of our charming community. Now settle in with a cup of something cozy and enjoy the timeless tales from a Sleepy Book Village getaway.
You may have heard the legend of Sleepy Hollow and the Headless Horseman, but perhaps you're not as acquainted with the tall tale of Rip Van Winkle that is found in the same collection of short stories, penned by Arthur Washington Irving in his sketchbook published in 1819 to 1820. Irving set both of these famous stories here in historic Sleepy Hollow country, a region full of fables, and Irving wove threads of European folk tales from his travels away from New York. Let me illustrate the story of Rip Van Winkle here at my writing desk. Rip, a kind but idle husband, often escaped into the woods with his dog for solitude. There he met ghostly men from Henry Hudson's crew playing a game of ninepins that echoed like thunder. Offered a drowsy drink, Rip fell into a deep sleep, and he awoke with a long beard to find that 20 years has passed. Although the legends still live on here in Sleepy Hollow country, there is sadly a decline in reading the old stories with each passing year. Do tell us if you read these stories before, and keep watching, because later in this episode we are going to explore the town in the Catskills that has proven that reading still matters in our modern age. We would like to take a moment to thank the sponsor of this episode, Akiflow, the all-in-one digital planning app. Because we are always striving for simplicity, but in this modern age, our digital life can be a mess, with emails, appointments and messages everywhere. And we didn't feel cozy at all, losing so much time just trying to keep up, when all we want is to be more creative instead. But that has changed now when we started using Akiflow. It gathers and integrates everything, Gmail, Slack, Notion and more, into a single universal inbox, so nothing slips through the cracks anymore. My favorite feature is time blocking, because I can drag tasks straight into my calendar as time slots or events, and finally see where my day is going. This is a game changer as freelancers. And with the AI Copilot, it learns my habits and suggests where tasks fits best, like having a thoughtful assistant keep my schedule balanced. And if you want to try it, you can even book a one-on-one onboarding session with their team. They will walk you through everything step by step. So if you're ready to tidy up your digital life and make more space for what you love, check out the link in the description for a free 7-day trial of Akiflow.
Leaving our cozy cottage, we set out on an early autumnal day for a long ramble across the Hudson Valley. In the mid-20th century, the Catskills was a popular vacation land, being about 3 hours from the bustle of New York City to the mountains with dense forests, winding rivers, and waterfalls. The Catskills name comes from the Dutch origins believed to mean Creek of the Wildcats. And we feel the call of the wild woods as we put on some road trip folk music courtesy of musician Steve Kellman. As we cross the mighty Hudson River over the Rip Van Winkle Bridge into the Catskills, we start to feel an almost spiritual shift in the atmosphere as we enter the mountains of the sky, as the Native Americans once called it. We have entered a drowsy yet awakening area that now feels like traveling by page. The local legend Rip Van Winkle can be found almost everywhere with his long beard and walking stick, welcoming wanderers to his old Dutch country to rest for a spell. We are heading towards Delaware County, but take a few antiquity stops in some of the most charming small towns on the way up. Washington Irving described these fairy mountains as a traveler would see them at the opening of the story. Whoever has made a voyage up the Hudson must remember the Catskill Mountains. They are a branch of the great Appalachian family and are seen away to the west of the river, swelling up to a noble height and lording it over the surrounding country. Every change of season, every change of weather, indeed every hour of the day produces some change in the magical hues and shapes of the mountains.
As we arrive at our destination, a cozy cabin nestled in the woods, we are struck by the tranquility of the forest and the gentle calls of the birds. This secluded spot feels far from society, a place for inspiration and daydreaming, just as Washington Irving described Sleepy Hollow as one of the quietest places in the whole world. We have chosen this cabin to celebrate our first day of autumn wedding anniversary, a reminder of the mountains where we were wed a decade ago on the west coast. So let's pull on our warm sweaters and take a little tour of this charming log cabin. The scent of timber and the feel of quilted blankets instantly make us feel at home here in the forest for the next few days. As evening falls, the echoes of the forest act like a lullaby, singing us into a deep, restful sleep. We awaken refreshed, ready to enjoy a cozy cabin breakfast of cinnamon rolls, warm coffee, tea, and a big dose of fresh mountain air before the next chapter of our getaway.
We are about to head out to a very charming little village that is known for what, Jonas?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's more bookshops than people, but almost. It's called the Book Town, and the town name is Hobart.
Yes. So we are heading out to the reading capital of New York, and this little village is so cute and is filled with independent bookshops, and we can't wait to go see what we find.
Shall we go read?
Yes, let's do it. Come along. Welcome to Hobart, a sleepy little village that you might just blink and miss. Settled in 1788 along the Delaware River, it was once a quiet farm town that nearly became a ghost town. In the early 2000s, a few clever residents inspired by the Welsh book village of Hay-on-Wye breathed new life into Hobart with old books. The charming old buildings of Main Street were transformed into a village devoted to bookstores, putting Hobart on the bibliophile map as the Catskills Book Village. Here, there are more books than its 400 residents, drawing readers and writers like us to explore its treasures. Let's hop from shop to shop, exploring these independent bookstores, each with its own diverse selection of new and secondhand books. Our fingers cannot resist perusing the shelves of this antiquarian bookshop. The smell of leather-bound pages filled the air, inviting us to see if each book lives up to its cover. Jonas, how do you know when you feel it's right to take a book off the shelf?
It's a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And with this particular book, I just love the back.
So what would you describe that feeling of when you know a book is calling to you?
It's like the same feeling when you go to a cafe and you see that something behind the counter is talking, it's fancy your attention.
I like that.
And that's when you know it. So Lindsay, do you have any special games you do with books?
Sometimes I like to try to guess how old a book is just by looking at the cover and
No,
the fonts and everything.
what do you guess for that book?
So what do you think about the bad boy of music?
50s?
50s? I feel like it might be late 40s? I could be totally wrong.
Well, let's find out.
Okay. 45.
You were right.
Okay, I was close.
I say you were right.
This This weekend happens to be the Festival of Women Writers, an annual event held here for over a decade. As we browse, we overhear workshops of passionate writers discussing craft and storytelling. It feels like we've stepped into the pages of a novel where books themselves are the main characters. We hope our vintage academia style might even inspire some of these writers' side characters in a whimsical way. Are you having fun?
Oh, yes.
Good.
You?
Yes. I think this is bookshop number 4, and it says Mysteries and More. Do you find a mystery yet?
It's a lot to pick between.
Mm.
So.
Just look at this apartment for rent.
Oh, really?
What do you think of living in there? The enthusiasm of the booksellers community here is so heartwarming. They share stories of the readers and writers who take a pilgrimage to Hobart, celebrating literature in a world where books can feel less appreciated in a digital age. It reminds us that storytelling is a deeply human art form that the proprietors here continue to preserve. They say don't judge a book by its cover, and now we see that this sleepy village continues to reinvent itself while honoring the history of literature. Before heading back to the cozy cabin with our finds, we cap off our visit with a stop at the nostalgic coffee pot diner. Reflecting on a day spent wandering through bookstores, which is a day well spent in our book.
All right. How are you, Lindsay?
Good, after a day in the book village.
Mm.
How are you?
Good. We have been strolling around in literature. So how was it? I think it was really fun.
It was really an interesting experience.
It's something special to be around old paper. Right?
For so many hours, yeah.
Mm.
I don't think I've ever bookstore hopped like that before. What was really cool about it too is that each one of them had their own specialty. Everyone had a different vibe, and you didn't feel like, oh, another bookstore. Oh, it was just like really interesting to see how each shop had their own style and
because we had
books.
Two who was more antique. Those were my favorite.
I thought it'd be fun to show you what we came away with. Well, why is it stuck? There we go. And of course, we had to have it in our Hobbit book bag.
Dress accordingly.
Which you got a compliment on.
Yeah.
Right?
One guy said that he loved our bag.
So how many books did we come away with? One. One book. And it's funny because the book that we brought back, the mystery book, is one we already have several copies of. Can you guess what it is?
The sketchbook.
The sketchbook by Washington Irving.
And we can tell you guys a little bit why we choose to buy this one. So there was a few reasons. And what caught my eyes, since we are in the Catskills mountain range region, Rip Van Winkle, 1939.
Yeah.
But what we like with this is the colored illustrations. So we have a lot of older books of the sketchbook, but they have you feel very fragile. You don't want to use it. But this is a book that is more sturdy, and you can actually read it and enjoy the illustrations.
Exactly.
But it's still a vintage book.
Yeah, we live in the Sleepy Hollow area, where the legend of Sleepy Hollow and the Horseman is around us all the time. So it felt fun to come up here and experience another one of Washington Irving's legends that this area is known for. This says something about Rip Van Winkle and Ichabod Crane. Many books after they are published fade into anonymity or find themselves suspended in a kind of limbo in which they are not forgotten but yet not talked about. In some cases, this is because the books are sheer drivel. They were not worth publishing in the first place. In other cases, this is because some characters step out of books and become part of world's legends, and the characters acquire a great fame while the books are obscured in which they were created.
Oh.
That makes so much... That is a beautiful way to put it, because people all the time are like, oh, Sleepy Hollow is from a book? To this world of legendary characters belongs Rip Van Winkle, belongs Ichabod Crane. We tell the legend of Rip Van Winkle to our children over and over, and sometimes forgetful of the fact that he first came into our lives as a character in a book by Washington Irving. What else do we have? Here, we've got a few more things. I wonder if it's surprising that we only came away with one book.
In this economy, are you kidding?
Exactly.
That's a little bit how you have to think.
So the only other two things we got were this.
A magnet from the Catskills.
Plates from Birds of New York, published by the New York State Museum from 1914. How pretty is that, though? So it's getting dark. This was cozy, but we still have some more coziness to enjoy at the cabin tonight.
I'm gonna read Rip Van Winkle in front of an open fire.
Okay.
So let's go set the fire.
Cabin cozy.
Ready.
Okay.
Yeah. By the fire pit, with the crackle of flames and pages of Irving in our hands, it feels like the sort of mountain escape that could lull anyone, not just Rip Van Winkle, into a 20-year slumber. We can't help but wonder what moral of the story Irving is imparting to the reader. In a fast-changing society of scrolls and screens, are we too sleeping through a transformation in this modern age, as fewer people read each year? Our time in the Catskills has rekindled the flame of imagination and our dream of writing together. We will close this chapter with one last quote from Washington Irving. I have never found in anything outside of the four walls of my study an enjoyment equal to sitting at my writing desk with a clean page, a new theme, and a mind awake.
As we close the final pages of this Catskills Getaway, we carry with us the feeling that these mountains have cast a spell, welcoming us back again and again to wander through their legends, lore, and eerie enchantment. Traveling home to Sleepy Hollow country through the winding roads feels a bit like reading between the lines of history and mystery in the Hudson Valley. Before the story ends, we make one last stop, a hike to Kaaterskill Falls, a two-tiered waterfall plunging 260 feet into the forest below. It feels like the perfect bookend to our bookworm ramble, a natural epilogue to our time among a cozy cabin, bookstores, and ghostly tales that jump off the page. If you've journeyed with us to the end, we'd love to hear what story has made the greatest difference in your life. For us, reading is more than a pastime. It's escapism, inspiration, and relaxation all bound together. May we all keep turning new leaves, writing new chapters, and learning from the plot twists along the way. Because every journey in life, like a page-turning book, is a timeless tale. Put that in my book.
Yeah.
We are staying in this very charming little cabin, and I already forgot what I was saying.
So this is Hobart and the book town. They all have the blue flags. I think blue stands for books or something.
Echo! Echo!
That's awesome.
Go stand next to it. Put your arm around him. Book, bed, and breakfast. Yeah.
You can place the words however you want.
That's true.